Most elves in media have a few core principles. They're very wise, very smart, have pointy ears, and are typically connected to nature or the old ways. And mankind can't ever figure their crap out. There's a few really interesting versions of elves across different media that add a nice little spin. The Dragon Prince especially comes to mind. I love those designs. So let's break down the elf lore for our animated show, Song of Grey, and then get into the specifics about water elves. The first ever elf was an explorer of the old world. He knew not of his own origins, nor why he was alive, but yet he was, and seemed to continue to be, so he searched for a noble purpose. That purpose was found in nature and in protecting it. He fought with every fiber of his being to protect and nurture nature. It seemed to begin to know him, and so it blessed him. When his blood was finally spilled in battle, the woods surrounding his blood took shape and became woodland elves. When their blood was spilled upon the stone elves took shape. When both stone and woodland elves' blood was spilled upon the sand, desert elves were born. So long as blood from all existing elves were spilled together upon an element or biome, nature created a new type of elf from the blood to protect it. This persisted until there were woodland, stone, desert, water, and snow elves. Elves are created from the element that they were born from. Woodland elves are made of wood, desert elves are made of sand, so on and so forth. So really, it's like we've smashed together elements and elves. Or elementals. I can't say that. Elementals. Okay. We don't have time in one video to be able to break down all of the different elf types, so we are just going to focus on water elves. Water elves have jellyfish-like heads and tentacles that act as bones moving throughout their bodies. Their bodies are made completely of water that the elves control. In the TTRPG system that we're creating, we've given them some unique features. First point of order is that all elves use something called elemental points, which are metaphorical points that more or less equate to how strong an elf's connection is to nature. As they level up, so does their connection to nature, allowing them to do more abilities. Elongated attacks, increasing their range and damage on attacks for a single strike as a bonus action. Tentacle strike, which forces the target to make a dexterity save in order to dodge out of the way of a poisonous tentacle. And absorb damage, which is a bonus action that allows the water elf to take half damage for the next round of combat. I won't break down every ability, but a few others that I like a lot are Water Cyclone, which allows the water elf to create a giant 20 by 20 foot water cyclone that throws the opponent into the air. Water Structure that allows them to create structures from water. And Tsunami, which allows them to summon an actual tsunami. I like to start my sculptures with just a basic sphere, very low poly, blocking out before you go into a higher level of detail. Otherwise, it's really hard to control the shapes. I like around the eyes especially, I like to treat it like it's kind of a skull, where the eyeballs are going to sit in the skull. And then once I add the eyeballs in, I would then sculpt the eyelids over the eyeballs. But as it is right now, it just looks like the shape of the skull. She has a beak, like an octopus or a squid beak. It takes me a minute to get the shape of the jellyfish cap in a way that I like it. I wanted it to look organic and like it was kind of laying on her head. I didn't want it to look like it was, you know, a hard, solid object when it's supposed to be made out of jelly. And then I block out the body. Very basic shape before I go on to more detail. I didn't include retopology in this video because that's usually the most boring part. I kind of sculpted out the shape of the jelly cap. I thought the topology of the model kind of suggested this shape that ended up working out with the way jellyfish actually look in real life. I used those lines as like a suggestion of where the edges of the cap should go. You can see me looking at Catherine's drawing to get an idea of what I need to change. I'm pushing and pulling little details. A lot of people like to have their model laying directly over the drawing to have more of a degree of accuracy to the reference, but I like to just eyeball it. I think I do a good job with that. I find it to be more fun than just copying it directly. And and I'm adding the tentacles here because I was going to join them, but I ended up deleting them, building out the tentacles from the retopologized model. So this is when I start texture painting. At this point, I have already retopologized the entire model, the face, the body. I've added tentacles and the jellyfish cap, and I've also UV unwrapped all of that, and I'm creating a texture for me to draw on that will be the coloration for her body. I create the color and the texture that I want. I create the texture for her body and her eyes, and then I very quickly paint her eyes, which are just going to be kind of a glowing gradient. So that part was easy. I had a lot of mistakes with UV unwrapping. I did not do a very good job, so there's a lot of artifacting and clipping where the kind of two edges of the UV don't meet. So when I paint, there's like lines on the model that I have to kind of go in and smooth out and fix. So if you're making your own model, you should do a better job of UV unwrapping and don't be like me, because I've been doing Blender for 10 years and I still don't know how to properly UV unwrap a character model, so do better. I take some artistic liberty with coloration. I kind of add some darker spots around the eyes and the ears and the fins and the tentacles because I thought that looked nice. I go for a darker shade of blue on the inside of the tentacles because I thought that would look nice. And once again here I'm fixing some weird artifacts and hard lines on the model that are caused by really poor UVs. You can kind of see that it's a little bit sloppy, but you know, she's supposed to be made out of water. After this I add in a texture that makes it look like she's made out of water, like a flowing water texture that moves. It kind of covers up some of these little mistakes, so it ends up looking okay in the end. I chose a brighter color for this suction cups because I thought it looked nice and glowy, and I'm painting the jellyfish cap. I was trying to go for kind of a transparent look without actually adding a transparent shader. I want it to look like there's light passing through, create that optical illusion without actually changing the shader too much. Special thank you to our beloved Patreons. I'm so grateful for all of you. You guys are the best. And John will be back for the next video. Bye guys. Thank you for watching.